Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. It is good to have a return appearance from this gentleman that just killed it last time he was on the air, and that is Joe Gavin, Chief Programs and Community Engagement Officer for the San Diego Seniors Community Foundation. Good to see you again, Joe.
Good to see you, Drew. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, my goodness. Of course, we're going to have you back. And you brought a colleague, friend of yours, Lynn Wolsey. She is the director of the Ed Brown Center for Active Adults. How you doing, Lynn?
Just great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it is our honor and pleasure. How long have you been with the center?
Well, as executive director, probably about 8 years.
Nice. Okay.
But a little bit longer on the board.
Yeah. So where's that located, and what do you guys do?
We are inside Rancho Bernardo Community Park in Rancho Bernardo.
Right. And you've been there the whole time?
Yes.
Very good. You live in Rancho Bernardo, I take it?
No, I live in Poway.
Not too far away.
Not too far. We like to consider that it's the region.
It is the region, absolutely. And Joe, the foundation's relatively new. When was it founded?
It was founded, Drew, in 2017 by Bob Kelly, who was the longtime leader of the San Diego Foundation. Bob retired in 2015. And guys like Bob don't stay retired. And he had always had older adults as a really something near dear to his heart. So along with Jerry Ray, he founded the foundation in 2017. And we've been doing some terrific work the last 6 years and slowly building our name and our reputation and our brand and hopefully trying to transform the aging service network here in San Diego to be reflective of this coming demographic challenge ahead of us. Yeah,
just hope you guys' ears were burning. I was just talking to someone recently about how we don't treat seniors nearly as well as we should, as other cultures do, to say the least. I can say this probably a bit more than you guys can, but maybe not. I don't know. And then when we have some of our friends in from the Native American tribes here, they know how to do this. They treat their elders right and so forth. I'll start with you on this, Joe, and then pivot over to Lynn. Is that changing? I mean, that's what you folks want to do, of course, but is that changing the attitudes, hopefully, that people have about seniors, that there's so much life in the seniors, there's so much they can add. We need to do a lot better job supporting them.
Absolutely. We look back to this is a whole new era of aging.
Right.
And, so many variables, people living longer, coming from smaller nuclear families, other challenges in place. But the concept is, to your point, Drew, is to reimagine how we can take advantage of this longevity that we are being afforded through medical gains and whatnot. And there's a lack of efforts in the community to recognize the impact of community health practices. We get terrific medical care throughout the county, wonderful organizations, but who's doing the work to enhance the community-based health? So we like to say that the medical establishment and the medical care community extend life. Organizations like Lynn's, ours, and other nonprofits want to extend the quality of life that people have, and not just see older adults as maybe always needing care or support. There's also a wonderful opportunity for all this dormant social capital to be engineered into giving people meaningful opportunities to take advantage of a longevity dividend that people are receiving. People, if you celebrate your 65th birthday. Statistically, you'll live to be 85. Still almost a quarter of your life still ahead of you. All wonderful opportunities to happen. And I think it's up to us and organizations like ours to really make that a viable solution for older people.
Right. And I imagine also, Lynn, not only you folks doing and carrying the heavy lifting, is everybody else involved in this. And we're all going to age, hopefully, in that aspect of it. But I bet you agree 100% with what Joe just said.
Absolutely. We provide socialization and activities for people who are retired primarily. And that is our primary goal is to keep them engaged and active and experiencing life to the fullest.
You bring up a very, very key word, socialization. You folks know this because you're the experts in this field. And it amazes me how people don't think, about it at all. And I can understand it. You're younger or young-ish, and you're around your friends and this and that, and then you get older. Now you're with your nieces and nephews and all that business. And so, what do I have to worry about socialization for? Well, you somewhere down the road may be alone in all that aspect of it. And I want you to think when you're 32 that imagine a world where you don't have anyone. If you got more people at that age to think about that, then they'd probably go ahead and focus on that aspect of it. So, Lynn, what do you do? How do you sit there and solve that socialization challenge?
Well, we, as I said, provide a variety of activities,
Right.
Over 30 separate activities every single week, from exercise classes to card playing to, like health fairs, just all kinds of things. And we find that many of our members come to us because they've been married for decades,
Right.
have been one-on-one with the same person, and all of a sudden that person is no longer in their life, whether they're ill or they've passed away, and they don't know what to do because that was their primary focus all their lives. So they find us, and they come, they make new friends, they volunteer, they, participate in activities, and all of a sudden they have a life. And we find that once they make friends within the group, then they kind of self-select to have activities outside of the Ed Brown Center. Even they'll meet for bagels every day at local shop, or they'll go to lunch once a week or whatever, just and create life for themselves rather than just sitting at home in front of the television.
Without what, that makes such a difference. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you're listening to Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing great things to San Diegans for more than 60 years. We're chatting with Gavin, Chief Programs and Community Engagement Officer for the San Diego Seniors Community Foundation, joined by his colleague Lynn Wolsey, Director of the Ed Brown Center for Active Adults. Joe, you folks were involved in, probably still are involved in, a pretty ambitious capital campaign.
Well, we are. We in May of this year, we released our San Diego Senior Center Master Plan and for senior centers. And what that was, the purpose of that was to provide sort of a framework for which San Diego policy people, elected officials, to give them some sort of framework to look at what's ahead of us. And by utilizing some more, higher level government frameworks like the California Master Plan for Aging, the San Diego County Aging Blueprint, we wanted to provide a tangible solution to some of those big visionary ideas of creating age-friendly communities and things of that nature. So we see the senior centers being the hopeful epicenter for all things related to older adults, not only for the traditional services of congregate meals and socialization, but also things like maybe employment opportunities, which will be something that'll be coming to a head in the future with more older adults needing to have, having the need to work. So more comprehensive senior centers, and behind that, the campaign that we called for was approximately $150 million over a course of 10-15 years to really reestablish, invigorate, or in some locations in San Diego County, actually build new centers that are currently lacking any sort of activities or centers.
Yeah, I just love the fact that both you folks working in this space of the key is active, the key is socialization, the key is taking advantage of all that equity that the seniors have and have had. This isn't new. It's not like in 2020 they got more brain power than they did in 1912. Of course they did, in that aspect of it. I think that is terrific. How do you work with, I'll start with you on this, Joe, and then pivot over to Lynn. How do you work with younger groups, whether it's colleges, universities, getting kids who are, maybe starting off with their own families to understand this is important for you to get engaged in now. Even if you don't have a parent that's elderly or not, you should be thinking about it. Do you do that?
Oh, absolutely. Fortunate to be involved with San Diego State University, and they've recently opened a Center for Excellence in Aging and Longevity.
That's great.
Part of the university's mission to become an age-friendly university. And within that organization, there's a student group that is hopefully developing a whole new level of professional capabilities and understandings, and hopefully working in the gerontology field in the future. And recently, through our engagements in the community, I was fortunate enough to partner with an organization in Oceanside, which is the Mobile Home Advocacy Committee, I believe is the name of it, as well as a student group from UCSD to put together a report on mobile home parks, which are really under threat for being bought out and utilized for other purposes.
Encroachment is big.
Encroachment, I think, yeah, exactly. And we're talking about, I think there's about 400 parks in the county with about 60,000 residents, a majority of whom are over 55. So if even 20% of that inventory is lost, where do these people go? But to get back to the point, it was really wonderful to be involved with students, a local nonprofit, and our foundation, again, working together to recognize needs that not only for older adults, as you mentioned, Drew, but also start thinking about your own future. And that's why we want to not silo these issues we bring up to just older adults. This really affects everybody.
Sure does.
So, the idea, if we can kind of incorporate this longevity dividend where kids, 20-year-old, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds can think about the work we do now will make it, they'll be there for them. That's the whole point, is that you work, you work your whole life, you do the right thing. Then when it comes to retirement, we have a society that's built to help support people as best they can and give them opportunities to still engage and participate.
Well, and even if you're a little skeptical of that aspect of it, but you care about your wallet, the amount of money that you guys, if that vision comes through, and I have all the faith in the world for you two guys, it will, think of the money you'll save in healthcare costs. And people that are working vibrantly into their 80s, whether it's wherever they want to work in that area, and you'll be saving so much money, and they'll be giving back into that community. It makes all the sense in the world. The numbers are there in that area. When we come back from a break, Lynn and Joe want to talk about a little bit about volunteerism. Is that such a critical area? I think the answer is yes. You could never have enough volunteers in all the different programs you do. So we'll have a big call on that. And then we also set time, as Joe knows, Lynn, what could our listeners do to support your efforts? Listen, money does not grow on trees, so it is important to donate. It turns lights on, keeps programs active, and so forth, and everything else in between on that. How's that sound?
Absolutely.
We will chat with that, you bet, when we're right back with Joe Gavin, Chief Programs and Community Engagement Officer for the San Diego Seniors Community Foundation, joined by Lynn Wolsey, Director of the Ed Brown Center for Active Adults. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing great things to San Diegans for more than 60 years. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream, and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing great things to San Diegans for more than 60 years. We're talking to experts in the seniors field. Joe Gavin, Chief Programs and Community Engagement Officer for San Diego Seniors Community Foundation, joined by Lynn Wolsey, Director of the Ed Brown Center for Active Adults. Right before break, Lynn, we were just chatting about volunteerism. Talk about how critical that is for what you folks do at the center.
We are actually an all-volunteer organization at this point.
So very critical.
So it's extremely critical. I'm even a volunteer.
Right.
And so we've been very fortunate, actually, in because the Poway Unified School District has a community service component.
Right.
And so we have had wonderful students who have created art programs, who bring us, there's this one young lady who brings us every single month new puzzles. She does a little puzzle booklet that is distributed free to the members to keep their brains active. We have another one, lovely young lady who has created a book club for us. It's been going for months now. I think since September. And no, it's longer than that. It's probably the beginning of summer. But anyway, it's the best book club ever. She moderates it. And she has, because she's very academically oriented, she actually asks us good questions and, things that really make us think. We compare books. We compare authors.
Right.
It's fabulous. And so it provides us with some access to a younger generation. And also they are just really great. We also did a leadership training project last year to actually train up the next generation of volunteers. And hopefully the seeds that were planted through that will bear fruit. We're talking, most of those people were, again, high school students.
Well, when you think about it, any nonprofit will take any type of volunteer hours. One is fine. If that's all you can do, we'll take it. Mm-hmm. Maybe 2 next week, maybe 3 next month, mm-hmm. whatever. And it's just to get you engaged. And we all know this, being in this field, that we just want people to get engaged, see what we're doing at Ed Brown or see what we're doing at the Seniors Community Foundation. Because once you get a hold of them, they're going to be pretty impressed with what you folks are doing. Talk about volunteerism on your side of the ledger there, Joe.
Well, it's an issue that it's just incredible how much in-kind time, resources, brain power is dedicated by thousands and thousands of volunteers for any number of different nonprofits, and whether it be senior organizations or kids, animals, and it's just that's what we kind of want to identify as we work towards, again, building this kind of macro vision of what the society can look like. What can we do to help? That's, again, not only help older adults who need care and support, but also to create a vibrant environment for people to engage. And as a dormant social capital exists, we have people that, they may not want to call bingo or file papers or answer the phones, but I think it's incumbent upon stakeholders like ourselves to really create this environment that give people really meaningful opportunities and challenges and ideas. I mean, for example, I had a meeting a couple weeks ago with this organization in North County that does farming, urban farming and microgreens and things of that nature. And we're talking about there must be hundreds of retired engineers maybe in the North County area who would love to get their hands back into the soil and thinking about processes and helping these organizations. I'm talking about like volunteer opportunities like that, a little bit more deeper and a little bit more innovative than what traditionally has been offered. So we as a foundation, again, with a platform of driving change from across the older adult paradigm and the Aging Services Network, we see also volunteerism as a opportunity for wonderful innovation as well.
What I love what you folks are doing, both of your organizations, and especially what you're doing, Joe, is the strategy behind it. We're not going to sit there and do the same thing so it looks the same in 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years. No, when we get to 15 years or even 10, it's going to look like X, and it's going to be vibrant. It's going to hit the whole community as a whole, the whole region as a whole, as I think what Lynn was talking about. And that's the key to all this. And, it's never too late to start. You better, and of course, you're starting right now. Actually, you were starting in 2017, to be honest with you. But, and I think if people really understand what you're doing, and that's why we love having you on the show, can't talk about this enough. Because when guys like me, who have probably already been there for 10 years, but are ready to do this, I want to be in that environment. Mm-hmm. I want to be, doing these great, cool things and so forth. And I think everyone feels that way, especially anybody who has done any caregiving to parents now. That certainly comes up in our conversations when we chat with senior groups is, there's 600,000 caregivers in San Diego County and 300,000 look like us. We've never been trained, but now we're taking care of someone, in that area. And the other thing is the biggest growing, at least it used to be, and I think it still is, and Joe, you can answer this question, maybe you too, Lynn, biggest growing population of the homeless are seniors, are they not?
That's correct. I think the most recent regional task force for the homeless report, I believe 1 in 4 are 55 and over, and it is a different pathway than what people think about homelessness. It's not mental health or other issues. It's usually purely economic that drives people into that situation. So there's certainly a lot of work to be done, certainly within the housing field for all populations here in San Diego. But
right.
Again, people would be surprised that that's one of the biggest population cohorts of homeless people.
Right. Well, that's why we say it all the time. We're going to say it all the time so they're not surprised, Yeah. And we're going to say it all the times when you have these figures here, you're going to have 1 million people over the age of 60 in literally in just 8 years, actually less than 8 years now. That's a big number and so forth. Again, we're chatting with Joe Gavin. He's the Chief Programs and Community Engagement Officer for the San Diego Seniors Community Foundation, joined by Lynn Wolsey, Director of the Ed Brown Center for Active Adults. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. So I'll start with you on this one, Lynn, then pivot over to Joe. What can our listeners do to support your efforts?
Just about anything. Seriously, donations, yes. Tell people about the center and the activities that we have. We have a website, edbrowncenter.org, which it's not the best website in the world because we can't afford the best website in the world, but it has a lot of information on it.
So here's a call we want to find some person, young or old. Listen, there's old folks that understand the websites that maybe can volunteer his or her time to develop a website for you. What do you think about that?
That would be awesome.
Very good. So let's see if we can work on that.
Another thing we need is a social media guru.
That person will do both.
Because we're older. We were not raised with tech.
No, but you know what?
And we, it's right. And it changes every 6 months. Every 6 months, there's something new.
I barely know how 2 tin cans and a string work, for God's sake. So I know what you're talking about. In that vein. And of course, that was an old reference. And now people are going to the Googler and going, "What is he talking about? 2 tin cans and a string, for God's sake!" You guys are laughing.
Or a telephone book. What's a telephone book? People
right. What's a lot of
don't
things?
know what a telephone book
exactly. Is. Or what a typewriter is. But you know what? Good point. So on the website, there are some opportunities, correct, on the Ed Brown?
No, we don't really have a volunteer page. We really don't. And that's a good point. we should get one.
Yeah, you should put one up there, and
mm-hmm.
Maybe I like to create work for people. Maybe Joe can help you with that over here, and Joe will never come back into the studio again.
I've got all the time in the world, Drew.
Yeah, that's right. You're only working 23 hours a day, so
yeah.
No. But seriously, if there's a call out there for some of our listeners, how do they get a hold of you folks?
They can call me through the Ed Brown Center,
okay.
858-487-9324.
And if that's not it, they can always look it up,
They can look it up, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. I don't call it very often, but...
I totally understand it. People ask me, what's your cell number? I don't know. I don't call it, so how would I know that? Joe, what can we do for you?
Well, presently, right now, Drew, we have a holiday grant program going on, and the foundation has raised money to provide funds for, I think, 26 senior centers and other organizations, Lynn's being one of them, to have a special holiday event. It was born out of the COVID pandemic when social isolation was so critical. We were able to provide some money for having special celebrations. It's been so successful and so well received. This is the third year we'll be doing it, and people certainly can make a donation to that effort. Again, we're providing throughout the county, from Imperial Beach up to Fallbrook, from Borrego to Encinitas. So throughout the county, we're providing this. So people can go to our website, www.sdscf.org, to learn about the Holiday Grant Program, but also to learn about more of our, what I like to call it, 364 other days of the year, with our master plan for senior centers, for our work in other areas with grant making, with helping try to advance this mission that we have, where we can realize a San Diego that ensures that every senior has someone they can turn to and trust.
Well, listen, and I really going to encourage everyone to go to your website as well, Joe, and get engaged. This is something that if we do this right, okay, and we start rowing in the same direction now, all entities, government, non-governmental, private ventures and all that, you're going to have that utopia, hopefully, down there, the seniors' utopia, for lack of a better term, down the road. And it's so important. It's very critical.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for having us on, Drew.
It's absolutely my pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a delight.
You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing great things to San Diego for more than 60 years, as our chat has been with Joe Gavin, Chief Programs and Community Engagement Officer for the San Diego Seniors Community Foundation, and Lynn Wolsey, Director, Ed Brown Center for Active Adults. Hope you enjoyed it.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.